welcome back, my lords and ladies, to The North Remembers, a discussion on House of the Dragon. We are up to episode number 9. We're calling it Beast Beneath the Boards, which is way better than the Green Council, which is what they came up with.
You can call it coming up with anything.
Yeah, that seems like they just fucking gave their nephew a job, and that was his job, picking the names of the episodes. So it kind of starts with the intro right off the bat. Well, it does a little whole last week on whatever, but then it does the intro, straight into the intro, with a very heavy emphasis on the Black Crown of Aegon the Conqueror. And the blood changes just a little bit.
You see, maybe it doesn't even change, but you see a different path.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
They just show a different view.
Showing you a different person's
a viewpoint of it. And it does go into, like, obviously everybody's like sigil or symbol that represents them. And there's a blue one off to the corner that I haven't quite seen what the sigil is, but it's obviously one of the Targaryen line, right?
One of the recent children to have been
born. Maybe. I don't know, but it's clearly like blue as to where the others are pretty plain.
It stands out between the gold and silver.
Yeah. And then it just does the normal thing and does a cold open to the dark, somber Red Keep. It's the night or the morning after, I guess. Like 2, 3 in the morning, I think we figured.
It's a rough estimate. We didn't go off of much for that.
Yeah. After the king's sad passing. To Patty.
Patty O'Hurlahan.
So a little well-dressed boy, we assume some sort of squire, obviously, because he's got access to it. It's clearly the king. You get that vibe.
He's well-dressed,
mm-hmm.
And like I said in earlier takes, he has gold hair, and then I'm thinking about I think he has like a red outfit,
vest,
like a tunic.
Yeah, and he's walking quickly away, kind of not, confident, not scared of the dark or anything like that.
He's scurrying.
Yeah.
In a rush.
And he goes straight to the kitchens, where we find Talia, who we found out on the last episode was relaying messages to the White Worm. So she is the first person other than that little boy, and who was the first person, because he was obviously going to check on the king. The king did die alone, as we saw.
Mm-hmm.
So she's basically the second person to find out. She goes straight to Alicent. Right?
Yeah, she's like her direct handmaiden or whatever. Yeah,
she's her number one, and she is sad. She chokes up, and she's like, "Okay, well, tell no one. Stay here."
She's literally crying, but she's in a rush, and you find out she's the really only one that's sad.
She's the only one throughout the episode. You'll find out.
I imagine when Rhaenyra finds out, she'll be sad.
Well, you don't get to see that quite.
Yeah.
So she basically says, you got to stay here. You stay here, help me get dressed. Then it shows a cut of Otto standing in front of the fire, and he looks.
Well, she says, "Don't tell anyone."
Yeah, don't tell anyone. Stay
here.
Yeah, stay here. Help me get dressed. And then it shows Otto standing in front of the fire, looking kind of like stressed, a little bit that his buddy's dead, but also kind of like, okay, now it's time to fucking.
I think that's why he's stressed.
Yeah,
he's thinking all right, here it comes.
It's the moment. It's my moment.
Yeah, this is where I put all the work in.
Yeah, now shit's gonna fucking get real.
Real fast.
Heads are gonna roll, literally. And basically, she tells him, he told me with his dying breath, He asks who knows. Oh, that's right. He asks her who knows, and she's like, a couple of the servants, my handmaiden Talia, and he's like, all right. And she's like, he said he wanted Aegon to succeed.
And she's pissed because the way she's telling him, she is like, last night, just me and him.
Yeah,
he finally said, I want Aegon to be
my successor.
The successor, and now he's dead, and no one's gonna believe me. I'm just gonna show up the next day and be like, actually, what he said was.
Yeah, nobody's clear. She knows that nobody's gonna buy this.
Yeah,
just on her word alone. And Otto's even Otto looks like he's questioning it.
Yeah, he was like,
he stood
now
against.
You're gonna say it?
Yeah, he stood against me for 20 years. Now he suddenly changed his mind. Like almost like Otto knows.
I feel bad for Allison in a way because she honestly believes it.
Yeah, I think Otto knows deep down. I was gonna say that Otto knows deep down, like he must have been talking about Rhaenyra's kid,
or even just been like, well, she's obviously mistaken something he said.
Yeah, but he's happy that she's on board.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Just can imagine that conversation when you find out later.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we can go with this.
Yeah,
she's at least on board now. She's upset, but she's at least on board. So it cuts right to the small council convening.
No, wait, we did miss something just real quick. Talia, when Allison leaves to go see Otto, she takes out the candle and puts it in the window. It's like a rack of candles, like a menorah kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being this way, it's like that way. She puts it in the window and lights it.
Yeah,
it's like an obvious signal coming out of
it shows the
dark kingdom. The whole kingdom's dark.
And
it's just like one light coming out of the tower.
Way out of the tower, yeah. It's a clear message to the White Worm that the king has finally passed.
Yeah.
Which sets the White Worm's plan in motion that you'll find out here shortly. So basically, the gun cuts to the small council convening, and Lannister's like, "What happened that has us up this early?" You know, they couldn't know that. Yeah, what couldn't have waited until 2 hours? Has Dorne been invaded? You know, laughing it off, and then you're just sitting there. Allison's just like, Otto's just like, the king is dead, and then everybody's just like, okay.
Oh, good.
And then he goes right into, so we'll go forward with our plans then. And Otto goes right into, yes, there's 2 members of the City Watch that are still loyal to Daemon. Yeah, 2 captains are still loyal to Daemon. They'll need to be replaced, as well as this, and then Beesbury, Sir Harland, and fucking Allison are like looking around like,
look what he was talking about.
What the fuck? And everybody else is like,
and Lannister is like, yeah, but I'm already securing the treasury. Like,
yeah,
we're good to go.
Everybody's like, and Allison's like, wait a minute. Am I to understand that members of my small council have been planning this without me?
Yeah, we're planning to put my son on the throne without my knowledge.
Yeah. What's this about? Oh yeah, because he does tell him, he's like, he's left us a gift.
Yeah,
we forgot that. He does say he left us a gift. He said to the queen last night that he wants his son to be, you know, and everybody buys it except for basically Beesbury, and
it's Sir Harland.
It's Sir Harland, and he just kind of just sits there quiet there for a minute, but then she's like, "Yeah, you guys have been making these plans without me. You know, what are we gonna do? What of Rhaenyra?" Like, okay, well, we need to make sure we get a hold of her and deal with that.
Yeah, Otto says something straight up to like she can't be left.
Yeah, she can't be allowed to be free to acquire, you know, supporters for her cause. Like, wait a minute, you know she's not going to bend the knee, and you know Daemon damn sure isn't going to bend the knee.
Yeah.
And then Beesbury's continuing to like, what are you talking about? What is this? This is, you're talking about usurping the throne. You know, this is treason.
Yeah.
And they're like, Beesbury,
so he like escalates to it. He's like, it's thievery. It's fuck, like whatever.
Treason.
Yeah, then he ends the treason. Like,
yeah, and they're like, shh, keep your voice down. And he's like, no, it isn't, because the king changed his mind. You know?
Yeah, you heard
And
him.
he's like, I have known Viserys longer than anybody at this table, and I am not going to believe that he just changed his mind at the last minute. And
20 years.
Yeah, and the one person he tells is the boy's mother.
No witnesses.
Yeah, there's nobody else. He was well last night, by all accounts. Who can say, you know,
he died
any
of his
different?
own accord.
Yeah, and they're like, who are you fucking accusing here? And he's like, I don't care. Who? Which one of you? Yeah, if it was one of you or all of you, somebody's fucking done his head, and then Sir Kristen just comes up out of nowhere. Sit down. Fucking face in the pie.
Smashed his head into the little plate with a ball in the center they all like to have, which I'm
just
assuming because of this is going to be disappearing soon.
And then Alice, the weird thing is Otto and Allison both are just like, oh god damn it.
Damn it, Kristen.
And then Lannister's like, And then Sir Harlan just fucking pulls out his
Immediately
sword.
pulls out his sword.
And he goes, Sir Kristen, throw down your sword and take off your cloak. And Lannister at that moment backs out
Yeah,
like,
he just like gets out of his seat and like slides and slinks away.
excuse me. No, thank you.
He's going to the bathroom on an airport or an airplane or something like that. Sorry, let me get over
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously in the way here.
here. Yeah.
And then Sir Kristen just fucking balls out, pulls out his sword, and says, I will not tolerate any insults to the queen.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wasn't insulted, Sir Kristen. Put your blade away. And he does. And then he goes to, and Sir Harlan puts his away, kind of, and he looks at Otto, and is like, has it come to this? And he's like, Lord Commander, calm down. And he's just like, and he fucking sees his sword. And they're like, okay, I think we'll have Lord Beesbury removed. And Otto's like, nope.
Those doors stay closed.
Yeah, those doors stay fucking closed.
Especially now more than ever.
Yeah.
He's killed somebody.
Yeah. Until we're finished with our business. And Lannister just sits back down, and then he like looks to his right, where Beesbury's head is still like eye open, blood just fucking
filling up the.
and he's just sitting there like, all right, well, Dragonstone might be a problem.
No, not Dragonstone.
Or
Storm's
End, yeah, might be a problem, as he has supported Rhaenyra in the past. But he does have 4 daughters, all unmarried. Perhaps we could, work something out. And that's when she kind of freaks out about Rhaenyra again. They basically tell her it's necessary to have Rhaenyra captured.
No, they say captured, and that's when Allison's like, okay, and they're like, and we'll make her sway of filthy. She goes, well, she won't.
Yeah, and then
they basically all kind of look at her like, so we have to kill her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't say it, but yeah, she's like, she won't bend the knee. That's what she says. She won't bend the knee, and Daemon won't. And they're kind of just looking like, she's like, you mean to kill them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, he's like, the king would not have wanted. She's like, he would not want the execution of his daughter. And then the other guy says, yes, my queen. And she's like, one more word, and I'll have you sent to the wall.
Yeah, he is. He's like, he wouldn't want his daughter murdered. He goes, but yet, and she's like, one more word, like that, out of you.
And I will have you sent to the fucking wall. So he's like, Lannister goes, well, what do you suggest, my queen? And she's like, hesitates again. And Otto's like, he says, Sir Harlan, gather your men and go to Dragonstone, give no quarter, whatever. And then Allison kind of looks, and Sir Harlan just fucking yanks off his cloak, folds it up reverently, sets it on the table, and just goes, I'm Lord Commander of the King's Guard.
I only recognize the king's authority.
Yeah, I only recognize the king's authority, and until there is one, I have no place here.
And he gets to leave.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to fuck with him. Like, he will kill him. He'll go down fighting.
Yeah.
He knows that. He's not a frail old man that's just like, treason!
He's like this series version of Sir Bellamy or something.
Yeah,
like
he's fucking...
He's a hard-ass old guy. So then, basically, after the small council breaks up, it's just the hunt for Aegon is on.
And the first place they go is to his chambers, where they find Helena talking, and you know what she says. I didn't.
Basically, a rough draft of it is she's like, I think it's like in our nature to want what somebody else has.
Yeah, like envious.
If somebody possesses something, the other one wants to take it.
Yeah, and the maid's like, yes, ma'am. And anytime she's like gets acknowledgement at all, she's like, like smiles. She's like not used to getting much acknowledgement from people.
Well, yeah, and when they do, it's always like a sweet, like, oh,
like good for you.
That's what a simpleton.
Yeah, you had a nice little thought. And clearly, sitting there with the handmaiden, 2 little blonde children, which clearly means her and Aegon.
I don't even say blonde, I'd say white.
Oh,
yeah, those are albino children.
Oh, them are fucking albino kids.
Surprised they didn't have red eyes.
Yeah, red eyes and like think fucking what is it? Village of the Damned? Yeah, Village of the Damned, not Children of the Corn. Village of the Damned, where all the little white-haired kids are like, work in unison. That's what they look like. Creepy little kids. But basically, Otto's like, where's Aegon? She's like, I don't know. He's not here. And she's He's like, he's not in any of the rooms. She's like, and then Otto's just like, God damn it. And he rushes out of there. Alice is like, Father. And then she looks back at Helena, and Helena's like, what's happened? And she's like, well, your father has. And she's like, yes, there's a beast beneath the boards.
Yeah,
And
she
she's
won't
like,
let her
oh,
touch
my
her,
dear.
she's
Yeah.
freaked
And
out.
she's like, my darling. And then she's like, still won't let her.
Yeah. She knows something's in motion.
Something's fucking going down, and she does not like it.
And
then
she's doing like a stitching of like a
crochet.
spider.
Yeah, of a spider again, which she had a spider in the seashell in that one episode.
Yeah.
Something's up with fucking her and spiders. I don't know what it is, but it's weird. And then as Allison tries to just sit there, kind of stressing out, and trying to comfort her again, in walks Aemond. Clearly, this is when Aemond is hearing that his father's dead, because like we said, this is first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
It was Allison finding out, went straight to the small council, then went straight looking for Aegon. So this is Aemond just hearing all the commotion, walking into his sister's room and
Yeah.
finding out that, oh, Dad's dead, and now my stupid ass older brother is gonna be fucking king. Sweet. And and he's nowhere to be fucking found.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's
Just
a,
like
he's a
fucking
booze and a whore.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. And he's gonna be running the show. We're all in for a lot of fucking good times here. So then Otto is frantically searching for Aegon,
Oh yeah.
and he sees Sir Eric. We got Sir Eric and Sir Lyric. I think this is Sir Eric, right? It's Sir Eric.
Wait, what'd you say, Sir Eric and what?
Lyric.
Are you gonna say Lyric?
I don't know. It's Sir Eric and Eric.
It's Eric. I would say Eric or
Eric.
something like that, because one's with an E and one's with an A.
Eric with an A. This is Eric with an E. Yes. Eric with an E.
These guys.
But Eric with an E is sitting there just in the keep, cleaning his sword and stuff. And Otto kind of looks at him like, the fuck are you doing? And he's like, where's the prince? And he's like, I'm sorry, my lord, I don't know. He's like, but you're his sworn protector. How do you not know where he is? And he's like, he uses authority to give me the slip, you know.
Yeah, he tells me to leave him be, which they do all the time. It's like, hey, just wait outside the door or something.
And then he disappears out the back. And then by the time, he checks his fucking sundial on his wrist, he fucking sees the prince has been in there for 3 hours. He couldn't be humping that long. Opens the door and he's out the back window to another whorehouse or God knows where.
No.
So he's like, okay, well, not good. Basically, Otto's like, I want you to go into the city and I want you to find him. Take your brother, ditch your cloaks. No one can know who you are or what you're searching for, especially the queen. And when you find him, you bring him back to me, directly to me, not the queen.
Or anyone else.
Yeah, and he's like, all right. And he just fucking on his way. And then it shows Princess Rhaenys wake up, and she's like, here's commotion. And then she goes to the door like, what the fuck? What's going on?
She's like locked in. Immediately I was having flashbacks to the Strongs. Like,
Oh, that's what I thought
she's
too.
gonna be set on fire.
But then I thought she's in the Red Keep. So no, they're not going to burn their own house down. But doesn't mean something bad's not going to happen to her. But yes, she was locked in, and she's like, what's the meaning of this? No answer. And then she opens like a window to what goes into the inside of the castle. And people are just being flooded.
It was like rushing down corridors and shit.
And then you see where they are going, and they're getting put down in the basement, like basically in the dungeons.
All the staff and the servants.
All the
are being
staff and the
put in
servants. Basically, anybody who could have possibly gotten word that the king was dead, Otto was making sure nobody was going to get out there and find him. Because then, basically, I think it's pretty smart to assume that the prince is a very hot commodity. And a lot of people obviously know he hits the town. So if everybody knows the king's dead, everybody's going to be looking for him.
Yeah.
For
Or if
ransom,
it gets
kill
out
him.
into the city, it easily gets to Rhaenyra faster.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think of that too. It gets to Rhaenyra that quick, and then she's fucking riding a dragon within an hour. She's there going,
Yeah.
"Where's my crown?"
Yep.
Oh, by the way, we're burying my dad first, and we're not doing that fucking churchy shit.
Yeah.
We're taking him up to
Put
the
on
hill
fire.
by my mom and lighting him on fire.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, she would get word way quick. So then Kristen comes to Alicent in her chambers, and Aemon's sitting there just looking all fucking.
Staring into the fire.
I read that he's fucking 16 at that point.
Aemon is? Or
Yeah, they all.
okay,
Yeah,
so the actor's gotta be
no, the actor's clearly like fucking 25, 30. There's no fucking way. But he's playing a 16-year-old kid. That was the joke. It was a joke. It was like.
I guess that makes sense. 16 or 17 because Aegon's like 20.
Yeah. Yeah, he says for 20 years
Yeah.
he could have named me and he didn't. So yeah, it makes sense. So he comes there, or Sir Kristen does, and basically tells her, your father sent the Erics.
Yeah, they can't find him. They're searching the town.
Yeah, they're out searching the town. Your father can't find him either.
She's like, okay, well, I need to entrust in you to do the same, basically.
Yeah, basically, I need you to go do the same. And anything you feel for me, and she says it real quick. She pauses. She goes, everything you feel for me up close, okay? It shows a close up of her face. They're fucking bam. And then she stops, obviously because her son's in the room, sitting over there. Maybe he's not looking in their direction, but there's no TV on. There's no TV. The fire's not that loud. So he can hear everything they're saying. So she can't say it just like that. So she says, everything you feel for me, pause, as your queen, do this for me.
Yeah, because Aemon kind of looks over too. He's like,
like, okay, mother, I'm here.
Yeah.
Careful. And then
she's like, you need to go fucking do the same. And
and
Aemon's like, I'm going with.
Yeah, I'm going with. And she's like, I don't like that idea, son. And he's like, look, I know, or what's his name? Sir Eric is not the only one who knows.
He has like an advantage. Or
Yeah.
He's my brother.
Yeah, he's my brother. I know what kind of fucking douche he is. I can help. Sir Kristen's gonna need me.
Yeah.
He definitely can't handle what he's about to check out.
And even calls him out later. He's like, you're fucking
a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, but
yeah. So Aemon and Kristen are walking the street of Silk, and Aemon's basically explaining like, Aegon brought me here on my 13th name day. Says it was his duty as my older brother. He goes, I take it I was supposed to. Yeah.
Like a woman.
I should learn my experience from him as he did. Or at least that's what I take him to mean. And Sir Kristen goes, I don't know what you mean. And he's like, he said, time to get it wet. And then Sir Kristen's like, every woman is the image of the mother and should be spoken of with reference. And like Dee said, cut back to, what did he say?
He called Rhaenyra a spoiled cunt because she wouldn't
run
away with him to Pentos.
She wouldn't give up all the money and power to run away with his ass to fucking live as a poor person. Boo-hoo.
You thought you were special.
Yeah.
You're not.
We never are, dude.
Just a little bitch. You can swing a sword pretty good.
Yeah. So basically, they stopped at a hooker, and Sir Kristen is like, we lost our drinking buddy. And he's a regular at your fine establishment. Perhaps you may have seen him. And she's like, describe him. And he's like, well, that's kind of a delicate matter. He's the prince, And she's like, the prince hasn't been here in a long time. He's like, long time, like last night, perhaps? She's like, no.
Like years.
Like years. His tastes are a little less, how do I say, discriminating. And Sir Kristen's like, well, what do you mean by that? She's like, good luck finding your friend.
Like, well, yeah, you want me to talk shit on the prince to his mom's fucking...
Well, not just that, but like, I'm not even going to let you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even going to... I'm a hooker, and even I don't want to say what that fucking weirdo is into.
Right.
We don't allow that shit here. We do some weird shit.
Stop coming here for a reason.
We do some weird shit in here, but he's too weird for us. Let's just put it that way. But she doesn't. She just kind of looks at him like, good luck finding your friend, and best of luck to this friend kind of thing. And Sir Kristen walks away, and Aemon kind of looks at her, and she looks at him, and she goes, my, how you've grown. Clearly, the hooker he was talking about visiting on his 13th name day.
And now she wants that dick again. It's much more mature.
Yeah. He's all sitting there like...
Well, if he's only 16, I guess it was only 3 years ago.
Yeah. But he must look a lot
So
different.
maybe his brother stopped going there right after that.
You never know. You never know. So it cuts to Right after that, Otto on the Iron Throne. Again, looking. Well, he wasn't. Was he sitting on? I don't think he was sitting
He's
on it.
standing in this
He was
one.
standing. He wasn't sitting all fucking
Little Nicky.
style on this one. He was standing, but he was basically telling everybody that, hey, all the lords and ladies that were loyal to Rhaenyra, you pledged your allegiance to Princess Rhaenyra.
On the king's like saying that he named her. Well, he named his
Well,
son now.
now he named his son, and we're gonna need you to like publicly, swear your allegiance to his son. And this one dude's like, okay, well, I need to talk to my house about that. A couple of them stay standing. A couple of them get it right away. They kneel and are like, all right, whatever. Who gives a shit? And the others, there's a few still standing, like 4 of them. I want to say 3 of them even. Just the lady.
Lady fell, the guy who I don't know
walks out,
and then Sir Caswell.
And Sir Caswell are standing. And then the one dude says, I need to confer with my house. He turns around to walk out, and they're like, no, we'll have your answer before you leave, We'd like your answer before you go.
Right. And he's like, well,
my house doesn't just, I'm no oath breaker, neither is my house. We remain loyal to the Princess Rhaenyra. And they're like, all right.
And then Lady Fell's like, yeah, me too.
And they're like, okay, that's your guys' decision. That'll be all. And clearly they're getting,
soldiers are escorting them.
They're being escorted out by armed soldiers.
They're getting executed.
Caswell kind of looks at that and is like, huh. He bends the knee and he's like the first person out of even the ones that bent the knee already. He's the first one to be like, long live the king.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like,
I was along for the whole time.
Yeah.
I just forgot to do
just in case anybody was doubting me.
I have bad knees.
I just wanted to do it last for dramatic effect. He was, he got quickly scared. Then it was a cut to the fighting pits.
Yeah, the Erics are like walking along and they hear
it just shows like
some commotion, so they dive into this little shithole building, and it's like 4 kids tossed into like a sand pit, and it's like stadium fucking seating, not seating, but like standing
dark
areas.
And dank, and they're like dirty, their teeth are filed, they got long dirty fingernails, and they're like looking at this one kid, checking his teeth. Fucking and like he's good, and then they just show him fucking getting thrown into the sand like on his face.
And they're like scratching each other in the face, like one falls down and they all just like attack him.
The first person they see get hit is a little girl by a dude, like a kid, teenage boy. He's like fucking bam, and it's like oh shit.
Yeah, and Eric's like, how old do you think they are?
Yeah,
and I don't know, about 10,
maybe about 10, and he tells them, they file their teeth down and let the nails grow long, makes them more formidable. And he's like, do you see what the prince is now? Do you see what my problem is? And he's like, okay, I get it, but whatever. And he's like, you haven't seen nothing, look over there. And he looks over, and there's a little albino kid, like we talked about, blonde hair, white as hell,
older than the two
we saw previously at the Red Keep.
Yeah.
So clearly an older, and he's like
waiting to be like
put in there,
and he's thrown in. Yeah,
and he's like, Aegon's, and he's like one of many, I'd wager.
Yeah, he's like 6 or 7 too.
Oh yeah, he's so basically he's been frequenting these whorehouses on the fucking flea bottom, and the whores who can't take care of the kids sell them off to the fighting pits for fucking what little they can get from her, and they raise these kids to beat the shit out of each other so that people can bet on it. Oh, and mind you, the people that are in there gambling are not like the whorehouse that Daemon and Rhaenyra went to, which is
a fine establishment
considered to be compared to this place. Like, there's no rich people here.
Yeah.
These are like the slums, the cutthroats, the worst.
Everyone's wearing dirty, stinky linens.
Yeah, they're like the bums. They're like people with their last 2 gold pieces that they bummed from somewhere. They're going to try to get some money for drugs or booze or whatever. It's a fucking rundown, shitty place. And then it kind of cuts to the Lord attempting to escape. It kind of blends the 3 scenes together. That scene, and then the Lord Caswell trying to, start to walk through the
Get out of
yard.
the keep.
Yeah, to get out of the keep, and he's kind of looking around, making sure nobody's watching. He's kind of tripped out. Then it cuts to Aemon and Kristen continuing to look for Aegon, and Aemon's just like, we continue to look for a wastrel who doesn't want anything to do with his inheritance. I'm the younger brother who trains or studies the histories all day, trains with the sword all day. I'm the one who rides the biggest dragon in the world. I should be, and he stops. And then, like, he knows, like, even though he fucking believes it, and it's true by all accounts if you look at him, and he's the better choice for king, but he knows that he's still reverent to the rules. He doesn't even say it out loud, even though nobody can hear
like treason.
Yeah, and it would be wrong. So he's just like, he stops, and Sir Kristen knows what he means and kind of walks up and is like, I know what it is to toil for what people are freely given. You know, he's like, we're not going to find him, Cole. You're a good man with no heart for, for no taste for depravity.
Yeah.
The places that
and even he's slipping me up. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, even I don't even know. Like, I thought I went to his bottom of the fucking line, dirtbag place.
It's like he could be fucking dead.
God knows where he could be. Yeah, and who cares? I don't really care.
If they come looking for me to be king, I intend to be found.
Yeah, I intend to be ready.
I'm not going to be slumming around in the city much longer because I could get hurt.
Yeah, so his secrets are his own. Let him have them. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. You don't want to know. Back to Lord Caswell again. He has stopped. He's getting on his horse. He gets to the gates. They start to open, and then it's close the gates, and then suddenly, and he goes. All of a sudden, the guards grabbing him, fucking pulling him off the horse. He's like, "Oh, unhand me!" And they're fucking dragging his ass in before Otto, and little creepy fucking Littlefoot is sitting there going, "Well, he was attempting to flee the main gates." Off to warn the princess, I'd wager. And he's just sitting there, and Otto goes, do you have anything to say for yourself, And he's like, the Lord of Conspirers or Conspiracies or something is mistaken. I have no love for the princess. And he's like, well, then where were you going in such a hurry? And he's like, and he hesitates. And Otto's pretty much had his fucking fill of hesitation for the day. So he's like, let the king's justice have him. And they fucking drag him out. And he's like, thank you, Sir Larys. You've done well. And Sir Larys is like, of course. And he goes to walk away. And he's like, you've been spending a lot of time with the queen. Or a lot of hours with the queen as of late. And Larys is like, okay, now he's on to me. So he turns around and he's like, there's no reason those hours can't benefit you in the end. And I was like, okay. This fucking little dirtbag knows how to play the game. But he's got info that I need, and he could be useful, obviously.
And then basically, it's the Erics looking for Aegon.
Not quite. It has Alicent is the only, like you said, the only one. It cuts to a quick shot of Alicent, the only one that mourns the king. Yeah, they're prepping his body. They are prepping it in a way he would not have preferred in the Seven. The way of the Seven, like Alicent would want. They're wrapping his body like it would be burned, but they don't show any inclination that they're going to do it.
Well, yeah, and
obviously, like you said,
who's wrapping his body? The little silent sisters or whatever.
And like you said, they don't want to get word to Rhaenyra. Going up on a hill with a dragon, because Aemon could easily do that. He could command Vhagar to do that.
Yeah.
But going up on the hill that's across the water from Dragonstone,
it's very ceremoniously.
Yeah, a lot of people on the hill. You know what I mean? Like, she's gonna see that, or at least somebody at Dragonstone's gonna see that, and be like, something's going on over at King's Landing.
Yeah,
like,
they're burning somebody, and that only happens to like royalty.
Yeah, and there's a dragon on the hill burning shit, and they're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So that might be why too. They were kind of. Not good with that. So she does look sad. She's like crying, upset. She goes to Rhaenys right after that. It shows her talking to Rhaenys, and she basically comes in, and Rhaenys is like, do you have an explanation for the fucking way that I was treated this morning? Like, why was I locked in here? What's going on? And Alicent's like disheveled, tired, and is like, I apologize for the lack of ceremony. And then her niece is like, the king. And
You
then Alice,
mean to just usurp the throne?
yeah, and you mean to fucking usurp the throne. And she's like, he said to me with his dying breath, he wants Aegon to be king. And Rhaenys is like, ha, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, it doesn't matter if you believe it to be true. Aegon will be king. And I would like your support. And she's like, wow. Well, I admire your boldness, you know.
But my family's
not fickle. My house's word's not fickle. And she's like, I understand that, okay, but listen to me, okay? It's true. You would have been a better queen. You should have been queen. And she's like,
and
whoa.
she lists off all the shit that happened because of their alliance with Rhaenyra.
Yeah, she basically is like, what has it got you?
She's like, your
daughter,
your daughter died in
Pentos.
Pentos alone. Your son was cuckolded.
Yeah.
His kids aren't his. Your husband isn't sticking around to help you through this.
Yeah, he's going to come back, what, dead possibly? At least really badly hurt. You know that. We've heard at least that. He might be dead.
And she's like, and just leaving you to handle all of this.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, all because you guys have been his aspirations for the throne.
Yeah.
And which is weird because that's when she does go up and say, I love your cousin very much. Or brother, no.
I loved your cousin very much, but you would have been a better queen.
And he would have been fine being a lord, getting fat and hunting and just
reading his histories
and playing with his Legos.
Yeah, playing with his Legos and shit. He would have been content to be a country lord.
Yeah.
But this is where we are now. We don't get to rule, but we can guide the men who do.
Yeah.
Guide them away from violence and away from bloodshed and towards peace. And Rhaenys is like, it was in the name of peace that you fucking imprisoned me this morning.
Right.
And what happens to my dragon? And she's like, here's the thing. We can't let you take the dragon. Because if we have your dragon, Rhaenyra will be more likely to negotiate. If we let you go when you take the dragon back away from us, there's a chance.
With her and their dragons.
Yeah, there's a chance that she might get it all huffy and puffy and like not want to bend the knee to my son. And we're just better off with you.
Try to convince you to come lay waste to King's Landing.
Yeah, we're just better off with you and your dragon being
up.
here, you know? And Rhaenys is like, you are still in service to men. You know what I mean? Your husband, your father, now your son. She's like, have you never thought about yourself on the Iron Throne?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is before when she would talk to Corlys, she told him like, "I'm fucking done with it. Just more sign.
Yeah.
Quit sending our kids to marry these fucks. It's all gonna go bad."
Yeah, they don't do well.
But now that she's lost everything, now she's like, "Fuck,
maybe
I could be on the Iron Throne."
Yeah, my
fucking
kids
are close before.
My kids are dead. Everything's. Yeah, I'm closer now.
My cousin's dead.
Anybody?
Rhaenyra's off at Dragonstone being usurped already.
And she's like, you don't. What does she say? She's like, you don't mean to be free. You mean to make a window in the wall of your prison.
Yep.
And that's when she says, you never thought about yourself on the Iron Throne? And
Allison's
like, I'll leave you.
I'll leave you. Think about it.
Yeah, you just think about that. We're not giving the dragon back. Okay, that's off the table. The dragon's off the table.
It's never on the table.
You just think, yeah. So then, basically, Aemon and Kristen see. Oh no, then it does have the brothers, huh?
Yeah, the Erics are still at the
whorehouse,
the child fighting pits,
and they're like arguing over like, see, he's not fit to be a king, and he's like, doesn't matter, dude. We fucking swore an oath till death. All right, we got to do it. We got to do what we were told. We got to bring his ass back. While that's happening, a little hooker comes up and is like, I could, and they're like, hey, my lords, or whatever. And like, we're not looking for a whore.
There's no buyers for your wares here.
Yeah, be gone. And she's like, I could tell you what to find Prince Aegon. And they're like,
Aegon.
Yeah, Aegon. And they're like, and she's like, well, or rather, somebody who does know where he is. And like, tell us. And she's like, no, this information will only, go to the.
Yeah, the person's holiness is not going to talk to you guys. They don't talk to the hand and the hand alone.
Yeah, the hand and the hand alone. Not to, sorry, she's not going to talk to servants of the keep, even if it's exalted ones, such as yourself, It's the fucking hand or nobody. And they're like, impossible. And she's like, trust me. He'll want to know what she has to say. I'm like, okay. So they basically go get him, and then it has Kristen and Aemond notice, and they're like, hey, what's going on over there?
But you see the handle hooded, like
Fucking badass. He actually looks fucking gnarly, like an assassin or something, or a wizard, or he looks really cool. And he's just like sitting there at the fucking outside tavern waiting. And she comes up, very nicely dressed. So she's not trying to be incognito, at least not amongst her poor people.
Yeah.
It seems like when she's amongst the poor, she's happy to be well dressed and in front of them. So obviously they're going to protect her.
Yeah.
Because she's just
Well,
walks
it's
in
like in practice, the quarterback wears like the red fucking jersey
Yeah.
or whatever, you know?
Don't hurt him.
Yeah. You gotta be able to pick him out of a crowd, you know?
Yeah. So she sits down and he's like, so you're the white worm, I take it? Or are you just another pig on this stinking egg? And she's like, my condolences on the death of your king. And then he's like, oh, okay. He knows right then. Nobody should know. I locked up every motherfucker that could have possibly told you that. So you are good. Okay, yeah, she's good. She's the real deal. Get some money.
Yeah.
Bring her money up. Bring up a big old fucking, like, both of these in one sack.
More than Allison paid that whore for 80.
Oh, yeah. Both, about this size, both of these with one big sack. He's holding it at the top and on the bottom.
Yeah.
He carries it. Swoop. Drops it down. And basically she says she wants an end to the use of children in Flea Bottom. They're made to use in the fighting pits or worse. Something that the guards fucking look away from or get paid to look away from. And
basically she's like, we know the crown knows, so either they're
ignoring it or they're fucking willing participants. Yeah, willing participants in this shit. And he's like, I will look into it. And she's like, okay, where's Aegon? Is what he asks. And she's like, well, I see, him wandering the streets of Flea Bottom, it's so dangerous. I thought I better get him and get him somewhere safe.
In case someone comes looking.
That's what she says before she makes the deal for then she says that she wants the fucking end of the fighting pits and all that shit. And she's like, okay, well, he's somewhere safe. And after they pay her off, it shows them leave. She basically tells them.
When she tells them about the kids and stuff, and he goes, I'll make sure of it. And she goes, just remember, when you ascend your grandson onto the throne,
I put
your plans, I could have easily killed him.
Yeah.
I helped you put him there.
Remember that.
And the only power you have is what the people allow you to have.
Yeah.
And I was like, believe me. I'll keep that in mind.
And then it just cuts to the brothers looking around. I think it's like the
sept or something.
Big statues, lots of candles.
Lots of candles.
And you hear like, and then they're like, wait. And then they fucking reach under the main big fucking prayer table or whatever. Fucking you hear, where am I? Where's the white worm? And then they're like, she sold you. He's like, for her price. And then Aegon's like, why did you pay it? And then he's like, your grandfather will meet you outside the city gates. And he's like, and he fucking runs, goes to run, and the one brother,
little bastard,
and only the one brother,
Eric
stays behind. Eric goes and tackles him, and it's like, you run away from what men would kill for, Aegon. What's the matter with you? Cuts to him walking him outside, like, okay.
And Eric is just like moseying behind.
Yeah, behind, kind of slow, and he's like, man, whatever. And then Sir Kristen and Aemond are waiting right out front.
They pop out.
Fucking boom. And he's like, all right, we're going to need to, take him. And then as they're kind of holding swords on each other, Aegon fucking elbows Eric and fucking runs down the stairs. Aemond runs after him.
Yeah.
Kristen and fucking Eric start sword fighting, right?
Yeah.
And as they're running, Aemond tackles Aegon, and he's just fucking like he's being tickled
and playing around.
He's fucking like a lunatic, and Aemon's just trying to grab him like, you fucking idiot, got me out here doing this shit. And they're sword fighting. Kristen's lost the upper hand at first, but then gets the upper hand and kind of says, "Where's your brother?" Where's your brother at?
And Eric's just watching from like way up above the stairs.
And then he's
or whatever.
fucking, Aemon's fucking, wrestling with Aegon, and he says,
Aegon says, "Is our father really dead?"
yeah, and
goes,
he's like, yes, and they're gonna make you king. He fucking spits at him.
He's like, "I don't want it."
Yeah, and then he picks him up, help me, and Larrick won't help. Eric's got a fucking sword on him from Kristen, and Aemon's picking him up. He's like, I don't want it. I'm not fit for duty. I don't want to rule. I don't have a taste for it, whatever kind of thing, or I'm not suited for it. I'm not suited for it. And Aemon's like, you'll hear no argument from me.
Yeah.
And he's like, please, just let me go. I'll find a ship. I'll sail away, never to be seen. And Aemon's thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh God, it will all
if
be
I
mine.
could trust that you could make it and get
And you're
away.
not too fucking stupid to get caught on your way to the fucking boat, or get drunk on your way to the boat,
Right.
or tell somebody on your journey before you get too far away that who you really are.
Yeah. But by the time he's finished with those thoughts, Kristen walks up and he's like, time to go see your ma.
Yeah, let's go. And he's like, but he thought about it. He thought, ooh, it would be this easy. And that's the first thing he says when he grabbed him. I'd hoped you disappeared.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, is our father true? Yeah. He's like, I'd hoped you disappeared. And then cuts right to Otto, Allison going to see Otto. And he's like, well played. And she's like, this isn't a game. And he's like, yeah, you play it like one. Act like there's some shiny prize at the end. And no matter what our differences are, we've stood by each other all these years. And now it's come to, putting the family first. Whatever our differences, our hearts are one in this. And she's like, our hearts are never one.
Yeah.
I've just done I've been a piece on the board for you to move around as you saw fit. And he's like, if that's true, then I made you queen of the 7 kingdoms. Would you have wanted any of that? She's like, how would I know?
I don't know what I wanted.
You told me what I wanted.
Yeah, you programmed me to want.
I was conditioned to believe. I was conditioned to want whatever you wanted for me. So for all I know, yeah. Well, guess what? Now it's time to pay that due back. I'm in charge now.
I got Aegon.
We're
going to proceed how I
We're going to proceed my way. He will take the name of the Conqueror, his ancestor the Conqueror. He will carry his sword Blackfire. He will reestablish the strength of House Targaryen. So it was cool that she was kind of doing a halfway thing. She was like, okay, my son will inherit the throne, because she did believe that that's what Viserys said. But we're not going to do it in your we're going to put Hightower all over the banners now, and he's going to start wearing green and all that shit. No, he is a Targaryen, because he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's half Hightower, but he's half Targaryen. So we're going to keep the Targaryen thing strong. I'm compromising here. She's still trying to be like, cool.
Right.
I'm compromising. I'm keeping the Targaryen name and bloodline strong, but also working in my religion and my thought process on my weak-minded idiot of a son.
Yeah.
So we can still influence him, but we have to do it under the Targaryen name.
Right. So we're also going to send word to Rhaenyra.
That she has a formal chance to basically bow and then get lost. Bow and disappear. And he's like, her banners will rally for her return. Well, then she mustn't return. And I don't know if that means like banishment, or if she really thinks she can talk her into
I don't know.
leaving.
That's
Obviously,
naive.
she's got to know. Yeah, it's naive to think that she's really going to talk her into like being okay.
Right.
I'm just gonna. Oh, and Lord Kristen will be named Lord Commander of the King's Guard. This is what's happening. It's my way or the highway. People I trust are going to be in charge. So yeah, your little getting rid of Daemon Guard thing, that's all well and good. But Sir Harlan left. Well, guess what? The dude that bashes fucking skulls just because people are insulting me, yeah, he's my new fucking head man.
Yeah.
He's the new head of security around here.
Yeah.
And you're not calling the shots. You can help me call the shots and give me advice, but I'm basically reserving the right now to say that what I decide goes.
Right.
And that's why later she tries to steer her son,
Yeah.
into not taking that.
And all
advice.
was like, in certain lights, you look exactly like your mother.
Yeah, because she
And
says,
she's like, you fucking idiot. Just like walks off. She's like, you're
yeah,
so
because she says the king would have wanted this mercy done for his daughter, and he's like, the king or you, her childhood friend,
Yeah.
and she's like, this is how it's gonna be done. And he's like, you look just like your mother.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you fucking prick. Like, nice try with that shit.
Did
And
I
she's
just tell you? Did I just tell you? I realized that I've been a pawn in your game this whole
Yeah,
time.
and you're
You
gonna
really
pull
think
that.
stupid shit like that's gonna work?
Yeah, you're gonna go back to that. I'm not fucking 15 anymore. So then she goes into her chambers and she's wore out. She's like, okay, I'm fucking done with business for the day. In the morning,
Pours herself a
in
glass
the
of
morning,
wine.
my son is gonna be done, and we're just gonna be done with this. In a whole new situation. Let's have some wine. She pours some wine, takes a drink. Standing by the fire is that creepy little Littlefoot, Sir Laris. And he's like, my queen, and I have some information you might want to know. And she's like, the hour's late, you know. He's like, yes, but you really want to know this. And she's like, what is that? And he's like, perhaps, and then he starts to walk on the fire. So he gives her a little bit at first. He's like, perhaps you'd like to know how your father was able to find
Didn't you ever wonder how your father was able to find?
Aegon before you, you know, locate where Aegon was before you. And she's like, so she walks around the table. I don't know if you can
Slips
see.
off
She
her
pops off
slippers.
she pops off her little shoes and she pops them on the table with her socks on. Sits them up all prim and proper. Kind of just looks like this. And he's like, looks
And he
at him.
stops looking at her
And
and
looks
starts
at her
looking
feet.
at her feet.
And then it's like, okay. And then he's like, there's a web of spiders in your castle. They relate, you know, he's telling her basically about the whole spider network and the spy network. And he cuts off at like, I can't remember where he
It
cuts
goes as far, or it goes like deep into your
Yeah.
castle or your house or something like that.
Yeah, and this person, and relays back on all the information, relays back to one person. And she's like, and this person is watching me. And he's like,
Yeah, you know the drill.
and she's like, so then she pulls off her socks, puts her feet back on the table, wiggles her toes a little bit, and he's like,
you know, like relax a little bit. He's like,
okay. And then he tells her more. Well, it's close as your handmaiden. You know, your own
she's one of
handmaiden.
them.
And she's like, Talia, your father has used it. He goes, your father has knows about this and chosen not to dismantle it.
Because it was advantageous to him
And
several times.
Several times, meaning that's how he got, because we see
And he
it in
trusts the information coming from this network.
Yeah, because he said that in previous episodes to Viserys and the one that came about Rhaenyra, right?
Yeah.
That's when he said to Viserys, I trust this person to have gotten the right information. So he's used it. He intends to keep it there. He can't control it quite yet like we know they do in the later years, hundreds of years from now, but he does have a handle on that it exists and how close it is to him. So he tries to use it as best he can. She's like, okay. And he's like, there's numbers that end up in this many. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
he
how many.
says, after he talks about Talia, he goes, and there's a lot more. Their number is unknown to me, but it's a lot more.
And he's like, what does she ask for to do? He's like, now
Well,
something
basically,
be done.
he goes,
he goes, the way to get rid of it. Yeah, he's like, you got to cut it off at the head, right?
yeah, something like, I think she was like, you know, how do we get rid of it or something like
Yeah.
that.
And he's like, you have to cut, you know, a queen. You have to kill the queen.
You kill the
Sorry.
queen bee,
Yeah,
all the worker bees.
apologies, no pun intended kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all the worker bees will become scattered if you kill the queen. So we kill it at the head. And she's like, is that something
Within your wheelhouse.
would be capable of? And he's like,
If my
should the queen desire?
And she basically goes full payment to do it. She turns to the side of she's sitting on like a couch.
And then she turns sideways.
And it's one of those like therapist couches where there's like an arm on one side.
Yeah.
So she just puts it on the flat side with no arm and like hangs her feet off of the edge.
On the very edge and like holds him there. And he is, okay, now they've gone graphic with some stuff. And they've done a lot of noises and side shots to imply shit, like with Sansa's Black Wedding, like that whole darkness. But that was less, and that disturbed me. That disturbed me less than this, because they show this in such a weird way. He fucking, as Dee put it, full blown gurks it.
Full blown goes gherkin under the robe.
He reaches under.
I
First,
think-
he like adjusts
the
it,
thing
and
was
then he
is
reaches.
I starting to realize is like when she had him up on the table, they were face to face.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting the same amount of skin to look at from the feet, but she's now looking away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And the shot is like her face like looking away, and him in the background like a fuzzy robe man in the background, just going to town.
Yeah,
and
just-
you can hear him like panting. Yeah,
And you can see it going like you can't. It's blurred, but you can see like the robe
The
going
part that's not blurred is they do show him like put his hand in like,
his
hook.
robe. And yeah, get full blown, got full grip on that motherfucker.
But yeah, so that's basically her paying him to go
Do her spy
whack the
thing.
worm.
Yeah, to go kill the worm and shit.
And since
That's-
we already heard him talking to Otto about like, hey, you know, what I'm working with the Queen could also benefit you, I'm thinking maybe in another season or something we're gonna see like a battle over who gets that network, who instills the Master of Whispers, what eventually becomes the Master of Whispers.
Yeah, that's true. So then it cuts to all of them just looking stressed, like build up of what's about to
Yeah,
happen.
montage of each.
Rhaenys, and then the last one it shows is Rhaenys in her chambers, and then you hear Sir Eric or Larrick, I guess, screaming, "Get out of my way!" Boom! Sound like he fucking knocks a dude out or some shit. And the door opens up, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Come with me. I can't deal with this treason. I can't stand by this treason."
Yeah.
He's sneaking her out. She's fucking hooded, fucking ready to go.
And it does do a quick cut to the child pits.
Burning down.
Yeah.
During that time, while it's showing her sneak out, it's showing her sneak around, and like shows Sir Caswell hanging from the middle of the fucking keep.
Courtyard or whatever.
In the courtyard of the keep. He's hanging there. Clearly gotten beat up a little bit too, like bruised and hanging
Clear
there.
message.
Another shot of just a black figure with a hood on walking away from the outside of them child pits, and it's fucking just engulfed. So obviously the payment to the worm was satisfied.
Well, that was just the goal, but his word was like
Yeah, also
the
they had-
hand sent out the order. Basically.
Yeah, said that he made it a deal, good on his word to her that I'll take care of it.
Mhm.
Basically to keep her happy and keep her information.
coming to him.
Yeah, because as long as it doesn't help her more than him, she will give it to him,
Yeah.
right? So basically, it shows them trying to escape. She's like, "Where Rhaenys and Larry trying to escape?" She's like, "I need to get in my dragon pit." She's like, "No, that's the first place they're gonna think you went."
Yeah. When they find out you're gone.
Yeah, when they find out you're gone, they're gonna
Plus,
go
it's under guard. Like you
Yeah.
think you're just gonna walk in.
You think they're just gonna? That's the one place they're gonna be at on heady guard right now. We're out of here. Gonna get you the black one. People are being rallied because Alicent did say she wanted the whole of King's Landing to witness her son's ascension. So everybody's being rallied. They get split up, down different fucking. They're all getting led up the hill to the dragon pits where she essentially wanted to go, but they're just getting drawn there for the gathering of the ascension. Cut to carriage ride. Aegon's riding, looking all.
Aegon and Alicent on their way to the.
He's looking all fucking
Dragon pits.
pissy like he always does. She's like, "Try to look grateful. Do you realize what's been done to fucking have you here today like this?" And he's like, "Yeah, something father never wanted. You know,
Yeah. He had 20 years.
to name me. He stood by Rhaenyra for 20 years. No, with his dying breath. I promise. You know."
He's like, he didn't love me.
No, he didn't. He laughs at her when she says that. He's like, "He didn't, because he didn't like me." And she's like, "Really?" And she opens up the fucking thing, and she's got the dagger. And he's like,
Don't fuck with me.
"Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, basically, don't toy with me, mother." And she's like, "I'm not," And he grabs it and he starts looking at it, and you can see just kind of. I don't think, like you said, I don't think the change happens right then, but he's starting to just like, really, like, did he really say that? And she's going on, and he doesn't even seem to be paying attention. Your grandfather is going to try to urge you to like kill your sister. Okay, you can't do that. You have to ignore that.
Your sister being Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
Helena.
like we're already taking the crown from her. Don't worry about it. Just you have.
You can't start your rule with cruelty.
Yeah, and your dad wouldn't want that. It was your father's daughter. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Be peaceful. Be smart. Ignore your grandfather. He's gonna urge you, but just ignore him. And the whole time he's just like looking at the dagger, like, is this real? And he says to her, "Do you love me?" And she's like, "You imbecile. Like, of course I love you. Look at all this shit I put up. Look at all the fucked up shit you do. And I still love you. Because I have to." So it cuts to them standing there on Otto's, like, everybody's watching. Otto's like, the king is dead. Everybody's like, oh, sad. But he left us a gift. He, with his last dying breath, told the queen that he wants his son Aegon. Da-da-da-da-da. Then they were like, everybody's like, ah. And then a few people were kind of like
clapping or whatever.
Yeah, and then so he comes out, the swords all crossed. Yeah, he comes out looking, and he looks all weird. And then they come up, and he kneels down, and then they kind of start that ceremony.
Yeah, the High Sep puts his crown on.
Well, they start doing a little thing, and then they bring the crown. They bring the crown over. And as that's happening, it shows Rhaenys looking, and
who's like in the middle of the crowd,
looking, and everybody's distracted as fuck. So she's like, and like we said, they're at the dragon pits. She's like,
she looks over and notices like an unguarded door
that leads directly down there. She's like, slinks off, looks down, and like goes down.
Concert. She's like,
as his whole ascension, they do the whole fucking how to do the Pope thing, whatever. And he stands up. They put the crown on him. He stands up, and he immediately
Aegon's crown, the cool fucking
black crown,
like pewter,
and
red jewel on the front. His sword's badass.
He stands up. He looks for acknowledgement. Allison's kind of like nods. He looks over at Helena, who nervously looks at him and kind of like Aemon is like yeah. Almost doesn't even nod. Almost like just winks and looks away. And I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, like, yeah, you're king. We got it. And then he looks over at Otto. Otto's just beaming with pride, like, I did it.
Yeah, Otto's like a full, like almost like a curtsy.
Yeah, like. And then he kind of, then everybody's like, no, does nothing. They're all still silent. And Sir Kristen is like, King Aegon! And then everybody's like, oh yeah, shit, we better fucking cheer. And then they start cheering, and then he kind of gets the fucking boner, the cheer boner, and he's just like, oh, cheer boner. He's like, oh, this is what it's like. Like, cheer boner. Oh, he pulls out the sword.
Seems like it's like he's a DJ at a rave.
And they're loving it. And like you said, that sword is like, it looks like fucking scrap. It's badass. It's the coolest sword. Long claw. All of them are badass, but it puts all of them to shame because the blade itself looks like it's got some inlaid into it.
Yeah.
That's like fucking fire or something. It's badass. And it is called Blackfire.
Yeah.
And
it is like a black. It's like a blackened steel.
Yeah. And then it shows Otto just looking like, I did it. Fuck y'all. Yeah. I did it.
It's done. I can
relax. And then Allison's just like smiling like, I did what I did it. All this fucked up shit has been worth it. I'm done. I'm done with it. And then you hear boosh up through the middle of the floor, fucking smoke, fucking dust, fucking you just see a tail out of the dust, fucking people flying.
Wings and shit moving.
Wings moving, people flying across the halls. It's not biting anybody or nothing, but then in the dust, they see fucking Rhaenys on top of her dragon. It looks like she's got her arm out. She's ready to battle if necessary. Standing right there, and Alicent, just like she leans to Kristen, go get Helena, like get Helena out of here. She runs straight to fucking Aegon, who's just sitting there like, the sword is obviously, he's not even holding the sword up anymore.
Right.
He's like down like this, like, whoa. And Alicent runs up, grabs him, and Rhaenys just like, they look at each other.
A few steps forward. And
they look right at each other, the two gals, and then it's just like, as the dragon rears up, Alicent goes like this, so does Aegon, and then he just, and it just screams.
Just roars at her, yeah.
And you'd think fucking loogies and shit would be hitting him, but spittle. But it's just fucking, and then
no flame.
Stops, and then Alicent kind of opens her eyes like, what? And Rhaenys looks at her like
everybody gets one.
Yeah, like,
well, no.
Like, just know, I could have killed you, but I didn't. But don't confuse this with my loyalty to you.
Right.
Don't ever lock me in a fucking room again, and don't ever lock my dragon away from me again. Or next time I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna burn this whole fucking place down.
Could have killed you, Dick.
Yeah. Could have killed you. So that is how the episode ends. It shows, and as the dragon bursts out, Otto's like, open the doors. All the people outside are like, fuck that. Dragon's escaping. We're supposed to close the doors. And after she does that whole thing and looks at Alicent, fucking turns around, boom, fucking flies out of the doors as they're closing. And as the episode ends, it's just the doors closing on Alicent and Aegon. She's just like leaning her heads against each other like, holy fucking shit. Like, does everybody else just shit their pants? Kind of like, boom, the doors close. End of the episode. Awesome. Awesome episode. And we will just have to see what happens next. It gave us some good inclinations. Obviously, there's going to be a dragon fight. It looked like it was going to be in the rain, which is always dramatic.
That's what I suspect to happen is they are talking about rallying banners and shit because Rhaenys goes and tells Rhaenyra.
Yeah, obviously.
And they're like, well, someone should go to Storm's End. And that shouldn't be too hard because
he's already loyal.
That's Rhaenys' cousin.
Yeah,
and he's kind of on Rhaenyra's
side. He went with the princess to pick different people for like the Kingsguard. Remember, right?
No,
that was her marriage proposal.
Yeah,
he was the one at her
campaign.
in his hold, like his kingdom.
Yeah,
the Stormlands. He was the one that gathered all his people.
So I think because it's going to be kind of easy, one of her sons is like, "Send us. We want to help." You know,
the younger one.
And so I think they send Luke.
And then Aemon happens.
And Aemon is already beaten him there. I'm pretty sure. And to try and do it because he's on Dragonback.
Yeah, and he's not the one you want to. You'd be better off running into Aegon.
Yeah.
But they're not going to send Aegon.
I don't know if that's going to be a dragon battle. I don't know.
That might just be a sword
Pretty sure
fight.
Luke's going to die, but I think it might just be a sword fight. There was one scene in the up next or finale.
I heard Rhaenyra rides one. I've heard Rhaenyra rides her dragon in this next episode, and at least once per season. And this is the final episode, so it would make sense. And they'll probably do it in some fucked up way, like her escaping at the end of the episode.
Yeah. Well, I know that there was the one scene in like the upcoming Next On or whatever. It's raining really bad, and someone who looks like one of the Strong Boys, just from the backside, so you can't really know, but he like pulls a sword out and starts running, and there's a fucking dragon,
in the rain,
person on a dragon. So like, you're gonna go fucking hand to dragon.
You're going fucking King Arthur style, like you see on the old books when you were a kid, like dragon with a shield and a fucking one little guy.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. It's been fun, and finale next week.